What's up, Nightmare family? It's Latoya, and today we're breaking down The Black Phone. Now, when this movie first came out, a lot of people expected a basic kidnapping horror movie, but honestly, this movie ended up being way more emotionally creepy and layered than people expected. Because underneath all the supernatural stuff, The Black Phone is really about fear, trauma, survival, and finding your strength when the world keeps trying to make you feel powerless. So let's break it down. The movie takes place in the late 1970s and follows Finney, a shy and quiet teenager living in a rough home environment with his sister Gwen and their abusive father. Right away, the movie shows us that Finney is already used to fear before anything supernatural even happens. He gets bullied at school, struggles standing up for himself, and lives in a household where he constantly feels small and powerless. But while all of this is happening, children around town are mysteriously disappearing. The kidnapper is a serial killer known as the Grabber. And honestly, Ethan Hawke plays this role in such a disturbing way because he's not loud or overly dramatic. He's calm, unpredictable, awkward, and creepy in a way that feels realistic. And that mask, stuff of nightmares. The different expressions on the mask almost make it feel like he has multiple personalities depending on his mood. Eventually, Finney becomes the Grabber's next victim. The Grabber kidnaps him and locks him inside a soundproof basement with an old disconnected black phone hanging on the wall. At first, Finney thinks the phone is useless, but then it starts ringing. And that's when the movie completely changes. The voices on the phone belong to the Grabber's previous victims. Now, what I love about this movie is that the ghosts are not there, to scare Finney. They're trying to help him survive. Each victim gives Finney clues, advice, pieces of escape attempts that failed when they were trapped in the basement. One tells him how to dig a tunnel. Another explains the lock combination. Another warns him about the Grabber's phone game. And slowly, every failed attempt starts becoming part of a larger survival plan. At the same time, we also follow Gwen, who honestly becomes one of the best parts of the movie. She's badass. Gwen has psychic dreams that help her see clues connected to the kidnapping. But because she's a child, nobody fully takes her seriously, especially her abusive father. And honestly, some of the emotional scenes between Gwen and her father hit hard because you can see how much pain this family is carrying. While Finney is trapped physically, Gwen is fighting emotionally and spiritually, trying to find her brother before it's too late. And what makes the movie so effective is that it balances supernatural horror with emotional realism. Because the scariest part of the movie isn't just the Grabber. It's the feeling of being trapped. Not just physically trapped, emotionally trapped too. Finney spends most of the movie believing he's weak, but every phone call slowly helps him become stronger. The dead boys are basically helping him build confidence, piece by piece. By the final act, Finney finally stops seeing himself as helpless, and that's why the ending works so well. Finney doesn't magically overpower the Grabber through strength alone. He survives by using everything the other victims taught him. The hole in the floor, the hidden trap, the phone call. Every failed escape attempt from previous victims becomes part of the Grabber's downfall. And symbolically, that's what makes the ending so satisfying. The victims were never forgotten. Through Finney, they finally fought back. I also think the movie works because it understands that horror is always scarier when it feels emotional. Yes, the supernatural phone is creepy. Yes, the grabber is terrifying. But what stays with people is the emotional core of the story. It's about scared children trying to survive a cruel world. And unfortunately, that's something a lot of people can relate to. Overall, The Black Phone is one of the most modern horror films because it combines emotional storytelling, supernatural horror, suspense, and character development in a way that feels meaningful instead of just relying on cheap jump scares. It's creepy, sad, intense, and honestly kind of a beautiful, strange way. But I want to know what you think. Did the black phone scare you, or did the emotional story hit harder than the horror itself? Let me know in the comments. And remember, don't play games you can't win. And I'll see you in the next nightmare.